The death of Molly Tibbetts at the hands of an illegal immigrant is still sending shockwaves throughout the country. In the wake of this tragedy, liberal Senator Elizabeth Warren raised some eyebrows with this reaction to Molly's murder.
Now, this is hard, not only for the family, but for the people in her community, the people throughout Iowa. But one of the things we have to remember is we need an immigration system that is effective, that focuses on where real problems are. Separating a mama from a baby does not make this country safer.
Joining us with his reaction is Editor-in-Chief of Campus Reform, Lawrence Jones. Lawrence, thanks for joining us. What do you make of that?
Well, she's so tone deaf. I mean, this is what the American people is so frustrated with. It seems like people on the left are so focused on the illegals, but they're not focused on the American citizens that are often harmed by people that shouldn't be in this country, that came in this country illegally. This is why I see them not being able to do well in the midterms, because every single time they have the opportunity to say, hey, I'm an American, I'm upset too, they say, oh no. This president against illegals, we don't want to enrage people against getting comprehensive immigration reform.
Well, I mean, they keep sliding back to the family separation, which was, I think, a low point for the president and something that they wish they could probably take back. But, you know, their tone keeps sounding more and more like they just want open borders. They want people, if you want to come here, just come here. And when you put that to the people in polling, that's not a very popular idea.
Rob,
I think they're stepping on themselves.
It's not that they sound like they want open borders. They have made it very clear that they wanted open borders. They don't respect the law. They want ICE eliminated. They want us to cry about the kids at the border. But remember, there are a lot of crimes in America where kids are stripped away from their parents all day, every day, and they have to pay the consequences, like the war on drugs, which Democrats supported back in the day. Black people were ripped away from their family back in the day because of the war on drugs. But guess what? If you want the drug laws to change, then you got to go through the criminal justice reform process. It's the same for immigration. There's not this special privilege for getting immigration done. They got to go through the legal process. And if Congress doesn't like the law, if they want to have a better system, then just change the law and get a bill to the president's desk. It's that simple. Well, it really isn't.
Right,
but it's come on.
Nothing simple at all.
No. Let's talk about this next topic. It's been a week after the DNC said they were going to review domestic abuse allegations against Keith Ellison. Haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Your take on that?
So here's the deal. Many of us on the right have always called for due process, that people have a presumption of innocence before you start, asking them to resign. But that's not what the Democrats said during the Me Too movement. They said that you're guilty first, and then you got to prove yourself innocent. But now, because they like this guy, because he is he's the vice chairman of the Democratic Party, and they feel like he's an advocate for women's rights, then he gets a pass. And I think that's just so hypocritical, and if they have one standard, they should stick with it.
Is he at risk in this coming? He's running for Attorney General in Minnesota, right?
I mean, this guy, it's not just his,
he's a big name.
Yeah, the alleged abuses against women, but it's his ties to radical Islam, for being a sympathizer for a lot of hateful people, Antifa, that he's going to have to deal with. But this is their guy, so they're going to provide cover for him.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, we've been talking about her a lot lately, and she posted a photo, I believe it was, lamenting this coffee shop closure that she frequented, and but apparently it's because of wage hikes.
Right. So your coffee shop is, experiencing the same thing as American businesses all across the country. Guess what? When you raise the minimum wage, people lose their jobs. They replace them with now machines now. So, I don't feel sorry for her. I think that this is a woman that has benefited from capitalism, and now she's changing her tune. Right. But I would caution people about laughing about her, because we've been reporting on this at Campus Reform for a little bit. These young people believe in her. They believe in socialism, and it scares the hell out of me. And it makes me upset when I see Republicans laugh at it, because I remember a junior senator with big ears that people used to laugh at about his hope and change message, and he became the president of the United States. So, I think we need to be a little bit cautious with it, laughing at him.
Her coffee shop here in Manhattan, they say that they can't stay open because the wage hikes have really hurt their business. These are wage hikes that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a big fan of. And when they close her coffee shop, all of a sudden she's not so
Not a
crazy
fan.
about the idea.
Because
that's what happens.
It's
though.
because it's her coffee shop. But again, there's small businesses all across America that are experiencing the same thing. And her policies, her socialist policies, she supports that. She supports raising a minimum wage.
You give us that 15 an hour, you're going to close a lot of small
Welcome
businesses.
to the real world when you do it. So
That's
your
right.
coffee shop is gone now.
Lawrence,
Sorry.
thank you so much.
Gotta
We
get
appreciate
coffee
you
somewhere
telling-
else. Thank you, Lawrence.
Hey, Jim Acosta, what do you think about Alex Jones being banned? Is that okay?
I don't really have a comment. I'm sorry.
Well, given that they had hashtag free press, as a fellow journalist, no, come on, I'm not going to do anything to attack him. As a fellow journalist, you know, hashtag free press was trending. Are you concerned at all?
I certainly support freedom of the press. I support freedom of speech. I certainly don't like what we've seen over the last couple of years, the president attacking the press. I think that that's really put a spotlight on the importance of a free press, and I think anybody who responsibly exercises that right to free speech, right of freedom of the press, that ought to be respected.
Well, don't you think that it's within the president's First Amendment for him to criticize and make comment against the media?
Absolutely, it's well within his First Amendment rights to make comments about the media, but it's also within my First Amendment rights to say that I don't think it's a good idea for the President of the United States to demonize the press and to call us the enemy of the people and that sort of thing. I think that kind of speech could potentially put journalists in harm's way, and that's something that I've consistently said, and I would certainly say it to you guys.
Well, it's interesting because, some leftists out there will say InfoWars is fake news, but then many on the right, you've even heard, says CNN is fake news, NBC is fake news. So what do you think about how social media has...
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I'd like to make this the last thing that I say because I got to get going.
Hey, guys, stop. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop.
My personal opinion is that you can't put CNN in the same category as InfoWars, with all due respect. I think if you look at what the Sandy Hook parents are going through right now with respect to InfoWars,
regarding journalism...
You're interrupting me, but I think if you were to take a look at what the Sandy Hook parents are going through right now with respect to InfoWars, that there is a conversation to be had about what is being said in the public sphere, what's being said on social media, and what is being told to a lot of people out there who trust what you say. And for example, I don't think it's right to say to the Sandy Hook parents out there that what happened was a hoax. I don't think that that's appropriate. So do
you think the answer is to ban and censor other
what I was about
journalists?
to say is that listen, everybody has a right to free speech, everybody has a right to freedom of the press, but I also think that you have to be responsible in exercising that right, and what you say and what you print, what you publish, and what you report on.
Well, CNN,
that has to, those things
CNN was calling for InfoWars to be banned. Don't you think that's kind of hypocritical, though?
Things have to be fact-based and truth-based.
But don't you think, as a fellow news organization, you shouldn't be calling for other news to be banned?
We deal with the truth, we deal with the facts, and I would recommend that you guys do the same thing, in my personal opinion.
But don't you think it's better to just counter?
Respectfully.
I understand, but don't you think it's better to just counter people rather than ban them and censor them?
Ma'am, I've answered your question, and I'm saying as respectful as I can that my sense of it is that we have to deal with the truth, we have to deal with the facts, and if you're in that space, if you're dealing with the truth and the facts, then you really have nothing to worry about.
So are you okay with news being censored?
I gotta go.
You're okay with media organizations being censored online?
I gotta.
You're okay with that? I mean, as a fellow journalist, that doesn't scare you?
Ma'am, I didn't say that.
Because what if the pendulum swings the other way, Jim? What if it swings the other way?
Swinging there.
You guys are called fake news to other platforms. Remember that. The pendulum can swing. It's never good to ban or censor anyone.
What's up, guys? I'm Caitlin Bennett, the Kent State gun girl, and today I'm going undercover at Kent State to see what students think about Caitlin Bennett, the Kent State gun girl. Did you guys see the girl who graduated with a rifle on her back?
Yep, she was in my hall. I walked right past her, yeah.
You walked right past her?
I thought it was a little over the top and ridiculous, and it shouldn't have got that much attention.
I would say something, but she might clap me. I don't want to threaten
No,
her.
say your opinion.
No, I'm good. She can do what she wants.
Yes, actually, I saw her in Eastway the other day.
Oh my, you saw her in Eastway? Yeah. No way. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy to think that she had a rifle in her bag on campus.
She had it in her bag?
I'm pretty sure.
I am an avid supporter of the Second Amendment, but I don't believe that an AR-15 belongs here on Kent campus.
I just think what she did was disrespectful, especially knowing the campus's history with, like, firearms.
This girl literally walked on campus right over there with a rifle in her bag in her graduation photos. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I feel like what she is just like shitty. No offense.
Yeah.
I mean,
You think she's shitty?
I think she's pretty shitty, to be honest.
So if you guys were next to her right now, like, what would you say to her knowing that she did all that?
I actually rehearsed this last night in the shower.
If you were next to her right now, what advice would you give her?
Get more schooling, go back for your master's, get a job. I don't know if she has a job, but I know she's coming back here for an open carry rally.
She's doing what?
She's coming back here for an open carry rally.
What would you say to her if you saw her here right now?
I'd say go fuck yourself.
I would just say goodbye.
So what if I told you I am that girl? What if I told you that I am that girl?
Really?
What if I told you that I am that girl?
Wow, okay, I'd be very surprised.
What if I told you guys that I'm that girl? Do you still think I'm shitty?
I mean, I just don't think what you're doing is really appropriate for this campus.
So if you guys were in front of her right now, what would you say?
I would say, hey, if it's you, I ain't gonna say nothing. We've been compromised.